allow me to present my team, Katie and Sean, and we are K-Squared Consulting. We are very pleased to be here today to recommend a fully integrated marketing communications campaign that will help Health Canada not only promote their brand throughout many different platforms, but to really leverage themselves as a brand as a whole. So we're just going to go over a quick agenda, just going through the current analysis and then going through the problem, several objectives that we would like to attain, the recommendation, implementation, and lastly, how our IMC campaign, which is one consistent message that will be delivered through all our stakeholders using different marketing tools, how we're going to affect them. So now looking to our mandate, we're given a clear mandate when really planning our IMC campaign, and that is to create a fully IMC campaign that will integrate most of the marketing platforms as possible for Quebec. Now I'm just looking into the external environments. There is always a constant change. There's the lifestyle from being sedentary to being very nomadic. So everyone's constantly on the go, whether it's going to school, to work, running to go to the mall, to meet their friends, to meet up with coworkers, colleagues. There's also a very evolving change in the fashion industry. It's always moving, there's always new trends, new styles, and that comes whether it's per season, per year. There's also an evolution of communication. There is a high increase in the use of technology, whether it's cell phone use, tablets. There's also a change in the internet because it's a very high speed medium that delivers messages very quickly, and it has a wider reach. There are so many platforms nowadays that content has to be reduced in length, and there are very different changes that need to be done so that they adapt to different mobile mediums. So therefore, we need to find the optimal combination of different media platforms that will allow Quebec to maximize their engagement with their current and potential consumers. Now looking at Quebec amongst competitors in the fashion publication. We looked at their position on two axes, the first being local versus global perspectives. So one end being more focused on local, little niche markets, and then the other spectrum would be very global internationally. On the other axes, we look at their blend of content versus core focus. So in the blend of content, we can be looking at magazines or publications that have to do with fashion, beauty, lifestyle, anything of a mix, versus core focus, where it's solely focusing on fashion or food or home. We see that Quebec is very high on the blend of content, and it's very locally based, particularly for Quebec. Now looking into the internal environments. So Quebec is known for being the only magazine to perfectly combine fashion and beauty with trends which reflect on societal phenomena, whether it's culture, psychology, or the art of living. They're also present through print, magazine, and also through mobile apps. They have a recent integration of content on smartphones, and they have redesigned this to have a better user-friendly engagement online. And this will help them. To push for a wider variety of media platforms. They're also part of the TC Media family. So TC Media has a collaboration committee. So that really puts in force their collaboration, whether it's between inter-departments or if it's outsourcing. So this also helps them create partnerships with external committees. So in turn, Quebec has many tools that will actually allow them to use the marketing initiatives in ways that they've never before to really push their presence on different platforms. Now looking at the consumer perception, our current Quebec's current consumers perceive Quebec as being the foundation and being at the forefront of the fashion industry. And therefore, they're highly relevant due to this, and because they provide worldwide content, but they see it from a local Canadian perspective. On the other hand, the general opinion is that fashion is targeted towards the young and trendy. And so, therefore, Elle has the opportunity to not only push their brand with a new different towards a different market. So really, when we're looking at the problem, we didn't see it so much as a problem, but we saw it as an opportunity for Elle Quebec to reach a bigger and wider potential than they have so far. We see that they are present online and they are present on print, but because there are so many other platforms that are recently emerging and that technology is evolving, we see that there are plenty of opportunities. It's just that Elle Quebec has to find the right combination, the right mix. And I will now allow Katie to continue with the objectives.
So realizing that Elle Quebec is facing less of a problem and more of an opportunity in the market, we see that as a marketing objective as a whole. We would like to increase in-store sales of subscriptions and online, as well as increase the unique visitors of the websites by 0.03% of reach. We see that Elle Quebec currently has about 1.6% of the reach, with a total reach for the fashion and beauty market at about 26%. So we think it's feasible to reach about an extra 0.3%. In terms of our communication objective, the goal basically of the entire IMC campaign, that is to make Elle Quebec an integrated part of their readers' lives. Really, it's more than just a magazine, and they need to know that. So the target market, the typical target market, is about 35 to 54 years old, women mostly, with a household income of less than $60,000 a year. To give you a better idea of the typical Elle reader, I'd like to introduce you to Michelle. She is a 42-year-old woman. She is an accountant in a small firm. She has a modest downtown apartment. On her nights off, she likes to go to Saint-Cassette with her colleagues and her friends. She likes to go shopping. She's online checking out what's new, what's coming out, the latest trends to follow. She really likes to be up to date, and she likes to be noticed. So the consumer insight that we really want to tap into and pull out of Michelle and really get Michelle to engage with the Elle Quebec brand is that some women in the 35 to 54-year-old range are having a little bit of a struggle, so that with age comes a struggle of maybe becoming a little bit irrelevant, maybe becoming a little bit less noticed. We don't want these women to feel like that. We want them to be at their very best. So we really want to use fashion to empower these women to be the best, to let them remain relevant, remain important, and really an internal feeling. So the main message of our IMC campaign is going to be that Elle Quebec provides the best variety of platforms for up-to-date fashion and lifestyle at your fingertips. So fingertips could mean a multitude of things. Could mean flipping the pages of a magazine. Could mean scrolling on your tablet, typing on your keyboard, clicking your mouse, many platforms. So combining our main message and our consumer insight, we came up with our big idea. So that is, with Elle Quebec, you're always in the fashion spotlight. So, as Kristen mentioned earlier, our IMC campaign is going to be fully integrated, and all-inclusive. So that means that it doesn't just target the consumers. As you can see here, we've come up with our stakeholder grid. Stakeholders are any members of the community or the outside world other than consumers who can affect the success of this campaign. So as you see on the left-hand side, we have these stakeholders that we feel are relevant, from the top being the most important, down to our celebrity guests, which you'll hear more about, being the least important. We have the tools that we are going to use with this IMC campaign on the top, which I will let Sean continue and explain for you.
Thank you. So looking at implementation at a glance, always targeting our big idea, which is to always be in the fashion spotlight. We are going to use online marketing, television advertisement, print advertisement, a contest also, as well as have an event scheduled in the month of May that's going to be coming up shortly, as well as sales promo, remaining with the e-newsletter, as well as social media, which is really important. So going into the contest to begin with, the Eternal Spotlight. So the Eternal Spotlight basically comes together fashion staples throughout the years. So that classic little black dress, that perfect red lip, the best pump to go out, the one purse that you can wear all the time, any event. And we're combining this into one category per month throughout the year, where consumers can vote on which out of 5 options is their preferred choice. So let's say there would be 5 options of a little black dress. One would be also provided by a local Canadian or Quebec designer to just emphasize on this local trend of the Quebec readers. And once these votes are in, so the winning product would be awarded to one of the voters who has voted for this product in particular. Also, it's going to be stressed that you can enter on every L platform. So if you have your cell phone, you can vote on the mobile app, you can vote online, you can vote through the magazine by sending in a mail-in response. So you can really tap into 5 or 6 different types of responses and then up your chances of winning, and also integrate all the platforms together to really make L Quebec an integrated part of consumers' lives. So moving on, also, you also have to feature an opt-out of the newsletter option. So once you're signing up for this vote, we have the option of giving you access to the monthly newsletter from L, and this will be featured as already signed up for, and you have to opt out of it. So this will maybe increase your rates of readership for the newsletter. These are going to be once a month, so therefore they progress in voting, so you can vote throughout the whole month, and you're always waiting for that next category to be revealed and what can you win next, so that increases engagement in the brand throughout the long term. So moving to the event, a spring 5 à 7. As we mentioned before, Michelle loves to go to 5 à 7 with her friends when she has time. So we thought about creating a spring 5 à 7 in the month of May, when this integrated communications plan would come about, which would reach about 75 to 100 guests. And we thought about combining with the White Room at the Bay, which offers local designs and upscale designs at a cheaper price than you would find at, let's say, Ogilvy's or Holt Renfrew, which basically targets our 34 to 55-year-old women that have a 60,000 or less income. So these 5 à 7s would be held in these stores. And if the White Room at the Bay has a problem, we thought about maybe targeting Zara as another alternative. These would be featuring a DJ playing music that would be targeted to these people, so nothing too upbeat and erratic, but very soothing and a fun environment to have all these people together. Also, champagne and canapes would be served throughout the evening. We would have L Quebec women, so working throughout the room to either push the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter, as well as promote the different platforms that are available for L. So all these platforms would also be featured on sophisticated little tables that would have all the displays, so the magazine itself, an iPad, an iPhone, and you can actually touch, have an interactive feel with all the different ways of experiencing L through the different platforms. The lucky winner of the night would be announced through a spotlight. So once again, having the spotlight on yourself. So at a random moment, you would announce the contest, and a spotlight would be shown on a lucky guest of the event, and she would win a $500 shopping spree at the store in question, either being the White Room or Zara, depending on host availabilities. As well, to reach these people, to get the people into the event, we would use a database of TC media, which is very extensive, as we mentioned in the case, and we would target the fashion and beauty category of this database, as well as sending push notifications to people who have the L Quebec app, as well as in-store help from the host. So whether it be Zara or the White Room, as I mentioned, just promoting it through to their customers that they see fit. Moving on from the event, sales promo. So for the Eternal Spotlight, voters of the Eternal Spotlight contest will be offered the chance of getting 50% off yearly subscriptions if they have used all different platforms of voting. So once you've completed your 5 or 6 platforms that you are allowed to vote on, you get the chance of getting your yearly subscription half off, which is a very good deal and a really good incentive to promote readership. The e-newsletter, which is currently already going on, which is a monthly newsletter featuring information about L Quebec and their promotions and their offerings, would be continued, but would also feature the Eternal Spotlight, mention what it is, explain how you can vote through all the different platforms, offer the incentive that you would get 50% off if you do all the platforms, as well as explaining the category of the month, why this is a category of the month, why is this a staple, and explaining all the different options listed. moving on from the promotion of this would also promote the event, the 5 set. So in the month of April, since the event would be in May, the April newsletter would promote the 5 set coming up in May, as well as at the bottom feature all the links to different platforms. So to ease the accessibility of all these platforms. So dealing with public relations to get some core people into these events. So although we want guests, women like Michelle coming to the events, we also believe that fashion bloggers and media would be really relevant to have at these events. So sending out promotional gift bags, including the latest El Quebec issue, as well as their invitation, other GC media promotional items that could be featured in the bag, since we have this internal database that is very strong, as well as other items that could potentially target these people based on their likings and tastes. So for the Spring 5 set, also featuring celebrity appearances by Quebec local celebrities that are viewed as trendy. So paid appearances, we would pay them for the night, and they would come just network with these people and share their fashion insight. So we thought about Anne-Marie Witton-Shaw, Mitsu, Mahime as very fashion icons in the Quebec market as of now, and potentially looking into other celebrity appearances if these don't pan out, as well as having the celebrity guests styled by El Quebec and the White Room, let's say, or Zara, so that they could really showcase the store as well. So it gives incentive to the store because their clothes being promoted as well. So the incentive, this would also bring incentive for the media and fashion bloggers to come if they know that dominant personalities in the Quebec fashion industry are showing up. So going on to social media, obviously Facebook, Twitter are very huge right now. Both are being used by El Quebec as well. But just creating a tab, a separate tab for the Eternal Spotlight contest to really put focus on also voting on Facebook and also explaining the contest through Facebook, as well as an event creation for the 5 set that will be happening in the month of May. For Twitter, pay for promoted tweets to be sent out to geo-targeted and interest-targeted consumers that would see info about the spotlight, the event, as well as links to go to the website. And we would create the hashtag #LSpotlight that people could pin onto their tweets themselves. Also, Pinterest, really huge right now, but we really believe that the market of 35 to 54-year-olds might not have tapped into Pinterest right as of now, so maybe consider that as a future option as Pinterest grows. Mobile marketing, responsive web design. So although El Quebec is already doing that, just be sure to implement it through all the new add-ons, such as the newsletter, the contest, and the events that are going to be added on for the mobile phones. And make sure that the mobile app offers the voting itself and without any flaws. When it comes to online advertising, adding banner ads, 2 different concepts. One being the Eternal Spotlight promotion, as well as the other one being How Bright Is Your Spotlight, featuring a purse spilling out with different platforms and shining spotlights on them. And the bigger the spotlight on these items, the more platforms you get, the bigger your spotlight. And a purse really symbolizes a woman's life, and we really want El Quebec to symbolize an integrated part of a woman's life itself. These would be featured in one website, such as Coup de Pouce, Reference Quebec, Jobgo.ca, as well as Metro. Finally, TV advertising, featuring a black and white TV advertisement featuring Michelle in different situations of her life. So taking the metro to work, lunch break at work, in her living room, just using different platforms all the time, and spotlight shining on her in color, really expressing that joy, that confidence, and that relevance of the Michelle consumer. And at the end, showing a black backdrop with all the spotlights on the platforms. These will be featured on channels such as VTV, Canada V, and potentially an English channel as well, CTV Montreal. The IMC budget, since we were not given an IMC budget and we were asked to be very creative, we came up with a fairly reasonable budget in our opinion, which is of $763,000. Looking at the blocking chart, a lot of tools are going to be used year-wide, but there are tools such as social media and banner advertisements that are going to be rotating between 2 concepts. So we believe that this is a very good picture of what the year would look like. I'm going to pass it on to you to close.
So looking back at the stakeholder grid that we showed you in the beginning, we can see which tools were used and which tools affected which stakeholders. So as you can see, advertising and sales promo, most of the tools are focused on the consumer, but the rest hit the other stakeholders as well. So finally, we feel that we've really hit the opportunity to increase the engagement of L users through our IMC campaign. Thank you very much.
Your main driver, sorry, for the campaign is the event, obviously. Well, and do you plan to have like many events, since I mean an event is local by its definition? So what about in order to cover all the province?
There's definitely the option to have the event located in other cities. With the restriction of the budget, with no budget provided, we were not 100% sure, so we just proposed have one event, see how it goes, and then you can do more. That way you have a better gauge of how successful the event was.
Thanks. And your marketing objectives was increasing in store sales, but have you thought about like a content strategy, for instance?
Sorry, can you?
A content strategy, like in order like to, because one of the secondary objectives were you know, like the content life cycle. So, I mean, in order to drive traffic, but have you thought about like the content itself?
Well, one of the ideas, the internal spotlight we found could definitely help promote the life cycle, especially since it is timeless pieces that kind of always remain in the spotlight. So we found that because we can run that campaign at least for a year, if that's successful, we might have other spin-off ideas of that, but that was the main idea to start off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Good job.
Thank you.